Good morning, YouTube. I've been going through a lot of stress and ups and downs lately, so I decided that I wanted to take the time to have a self-care day today. I think that self-care is extremely important, especially now more than ever with the pandemic, and you need to listen to your body and mind when it's time to take a break. I always start my morning off by freshening up and brushing my teeth.
That's the only way to do it.
I also love using this jade roller to depuff my under eyes and face. Today I'm going to go for a run, so I'm going to put on some SPF as well to protect my skin. Sundays are my day to run errands, whether it's doing my laundry, putting my clothes away, or cleaning my room. I tend to be a fairly messy person, so it's important for me to commit to cleaning and organizing at least once a week to maintain a peaceful workspace. This year, I became more invested in houseplants, and it's a simple act of caring for something else that brings me joy. I love how your plants will physically show that they are in need of care, and it's a good reminder to take care of myself in the same way. Next, I've been going to therapy a lot for my mental health. School and life in general has been really stressful, so for me, I love being able to talk to my therapist when I'm going through rough times. My specific goals for therapy were better communication and emotional management, and she's been sending me worksheets for me to fill out that really help me think and reflect on my own communication skills and patterns. I believe in the motto, look good, feel good, so today I'm just going to do my makeup before I head out. I'm also having a photo shoot later today with some friends, so it's a nice excuse to dress up. During quarantine, it's really hard being stuck inside the house all day, so occasionally I'll head out to pick up some coffee while following all social distancing guidelines, of course, and wearing a mask. Lately, I've been obsessed with a matcha latte and lavender syrup with oat milk, and it hits the spot every time. I know that everyone has been making banana bread during quarantine, so I finally decided to make some banana chocolate muffins today because I had 2 really ripe bananas. Baking and feeding others brings me a lot of joy. Reading has been a nice escape for me these days because being consumed by the constant inundation of news on social media can be mentally and emotionally draining. So it's good to take a break sometimes and just slow down. Can't you see? another part of my self-care routine is to do my nails, as I'm sure a lot of other people like to do, and this is a little bit more unorthodox, but because I am a dental student, I am going to use my loupes for this. So these are what we wear when we see our patients or we work and when we work on our mannequins in lab. And I always struggle with this because I don't have much of a nose bridge, so it tends to slip a lot, but getting all fancy here. Okay, so the reason we wear loupes is to make sure that we're working in an ergonomic position. So I'm gonna use them to paint my nails as well. And it's a little bit awkward just because this declination, this angle of declination is a little bit off from what I'm used to. And it's not like I can really lift my foot up here. So it would probably be around here, but anyways, I am just gonna paint my nails. Some other self-care practices that I like to incorporate into my evening routine include doing a face mask. This one is the Aztec Indian Healing Clay Mask, which I'm mixing with equal parts apple cider vinegar. I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes, and during this time I'm going to journal as well. Journaling has become the most consistent part of my daily routine, and it really helps me to clear my head, process my emotions, and reflect on things that I did well or could do better. So I wanted to pop on before I ended this vlog and talk a little bit more about my therapy, which has been a really fundamental part of my self-care practices. And I started going to therapy shortly after the pandemic started, but I really wish that I started going sooner. I was going to therapy for a while when I was in my master's program, and that was offered through school. For me personally, the help that I needed wasn't as available, and after I graduated, I stopped going to therapy, and seeking out professional help from a private practice can get really expensive even with insurance. So that was one of the biggest reasons that I kind of stopped going to therapy. But recently I started using BetterHelp, which is an app that offers 24/7 virtual therapy, and this can either be through text, audio messaging, or live video sessions. Just to preface, this video is not sponsored in any way, and I think that's a given because I literally only have 7 subscribers. I mean, honestly, these vlogs are really just for me as a creative outlet and as a visual diary, but if somehow you have stumbled your way onto this vlog and are watching this and are interested in therapy, I will attach a link in the description box so that you can try out BetterHelp for a week. If you use the referral code, I will also get 1 week for free, so just a disclaimer, but I personally love the service. I just love that you can have professional help literally at your fingertips. I message my therapist throughout the week, and she'll usually get back to me within 1 to 2 days. And then she'll also send me worksheets that I fill out and we kind of discuss. The other thing that I really love about this platform is that they host groupinars. And I actually took some notes in my journal from this past week. I attended 3 groupinars, and these groupinars are basically available to anyone who uses the services for free, and you can go to as many as you want. And I've found that a lot of these webinars are actually really applicable. So the first one that I went to this week was called Positive Relationships During and After a Pandemic, and the second one was called Communication Mistakes We All Make. And I thought that this one was particularly helpful because working on my communication has been one of my biggest goals for therapy. And then the last one that I attended was called Rebuilding Trust Step by Step. And all of these group webinars are led by LMFTs, LCSWs, or clinical psychologists. I really learned a lot during these group webinars, and I thought I would just share a little bit about what I learned from one of the group webinars this past week regarding communication mistakes. So this webinar talked about 4 big communication mistakes that commonly occur in relationships. And this can be a relationship with your friend, with your partner, with your family, with your roommate, or even in a professional setting. This LMFT broke it down into 4 of the most common mistakes, the first one being withdrawal and avoidance. And this one is actually the most common communication mistake. And when you encounter someone who, withdraws from you while you are speaking to them or bringing up some type of negative emotions or situation, it is really important to understand that they are withdrawing from the potential of conflict and not from you specifically. And I think that this was something that was really important for me to kind of understand, because when I have dealt with withdrawal or avoidance in the past, it has been really frustrating for me. The second communication mistake is escalate. And this is when you basically respond negatively towards your partner. Obviously, I'm not a professional in any way. I just wanted to share some of the notes that I took down while I was attending this webinar, in case that it's helpful or you find it interesting. With escalation, they use the analogy of like a highway where, you go from 0 to 100. And this has been my experience when my emotions run really, really high. And along this highway, it is really important for there to be stop signs. And these stop signs are basically for you to recognize that something needs to change. This allows you to kind of de-escalate the situation. One of the ways that you can do this is having a planned timeout within a certain time frame, so that both parties can meet back up and talk and listen in a more respectful way. Having this timeout also gives time to cool down. So I thought that this was something that, I could try to implement whenever I have really heated conversations. The third one is negatively interpret, which is when you essentially assign a negative emotion that's different from what the other person is intending. When this happens, you basically just have to stop and ask for clarification so that both sides are fully understood. And then the fourth one is invalidate, and this is when you dismiss or minimize the feelings of another person. And this has happened to me before, and I know that it can be really hurtful. So I think understanding these 4 different communication mistakes really helps me to pinpoint what I feel like I could do better and what to look for. It was really funny because the therapist used the acronym WEINIE: W for withdrawal, E for escalate, N for negatively interpret, and I for invalidation. He was basically just saying, don't be a weenie. That's a little glimpse of what therapy has been doing for me. I'm just really looking forward to working on the goals that I set out for myself and continuing my self-improvement. So I encourage you to all do the same and to never stop growing and never stop learning. I'm going to end the night with another face mask to rehydrate my skin, and the one I'm using today is the Hydrating Protein Mask by MetaHeal, which is a Korean skincare brand. This was actually a gift from a friend, and I've heard that MetaHeal has some of the best face masks. I like to wind down by reading a book or watching a show to end the night, and I hope you all take care of yourself during this time. Good night, and thank you for watching.